Man, I got to tell you, I hate shooting at 20 millimeters. I mean, 20 millimeters to me is like having a real conversation via text. Like, people who know me know that that drives me out of my mind. You know, even an email, like anything you can inject tone into, I just don't like it. I mean, I guess the things that I like about 20 millimeters is that you can see the background. I'm shooting at a 4:3 aspect ratio today because I wanted to change the perspective and see if that changes the storytelling at all for you. For me, it doesn't really make a difference. I'm always going to choose the aspect ratio that feels the way I should be shooting. And so today I felt like shooting a 4:3. I'm actually using a 20-60 kit lens today, a spherical lens. I don't even really like this. I mean, it's okay. You know, it's flexible. I'm shooting a documentary with it right now. It's not really fast enough, but as long as I can get to ISO 4000, I can control things, you know, even when the lighting is bad. And you know, the Panasonic S5, as long as you know what you're doing, you're going to get a great image. But I can't stand 20 millimeters for me is like way too wide. You know, it's like beyond how wide I would generally like to go. Especially if you shoot up close at 20 millimeters, it looks really crazy. Like, let me show you real quick. I mean, 20 millimeters is just weird, you know? Like, the lens is right here. It's right here. I'm like 8 inches away. So I guess the advantage is you can get up close. 20 millimeters to me is just, first of all, I don't want to stick a camera this close to my face or to anybody else's face. Maybe if you're shooting a bug or something like that, or pages in a book, perhaps, but you don't really need 20 millimeters for that. So I'm feeling a little uncomfortable right now. You can see my face is distorted. This is not even what I look like really in real life. Like, I don't really like it. It looks weird to me. So let me go to 24 millimeters. That makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. I mean, even 24 millimeters at this distance is just kind of weird. I mean, you could probably see the hairs in my nose. I don't know. It still looks distorted to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still as close to the lens, and it still feels like we're texting and not talking face to face. Because if we're talking face to face, I'm not going to be distorted like this. I'm just going to seem closer to you. You know, I prefer a real conversation. I prefer to be in person. I don't like tone. I don't like any of that. I don't mind phone calls. I don't mind Zooming. That's a little bit better, but there's something about the energy of being in person. Now, the argument is, well, you know what, let me move back, stay at 24 millimeters and talk about the argument for shooting wide like that. So let me move back. So 24 millimeters back here, I mean, I would probably fill the frame better, but if I'm 24 millimeters back here, it starts to, you know, still look, I don't know, better than 20, because 20 kind of distorts everything, distorts the corners. That's why if you're going to shoot 20 millimeters, it's good to shoot 4:3, which is, you know, eliminating the outer parts of the frame, which are the parts that are going to tend to be, you know, look weird, you know, get distorted, just not look normal, not look like, I mean, unless that's what you're going for, if that's the kind of story that you're telling. But I don't mind 24 millimeters. Sometimes the advantage is that when you get close with 24 or 20, like I just showed you, you can still see around the subject, so you can see what else is going on, so you could feel the energy of what's happening around the subject, which that's something you can't do when you're texting or emailing. You can't really feel the energy of what's happening around what that person is feeling or seeing, or, you know, being influenced by right where they are, you know. Like when you're with somebody, when you see them, you're having a common experience. But when you're texting or emailing back and forth, it's not a common experience. It's just that way and this way and that way and this way. But it's not this kind of thing, you know. Like this together, that's a real conversation. Let me switch to 28 millimeters, because that's where I start to feel really comfortable and I shoot 90% of the time. Let's go to 28. Now you have to admit, 28 millimeters starting to feel like me, like normal. Like we're in the same place, like I came to your apartment, or you came to my apartment, or we met at a cafe, or we decided to go to the park and sit on a bench together, or maybe we're even sitting a little bit further from each other because maybe we're going through some stuff, you know, like in person is the shit. You know, it's not, and you know, still 28, you can still see what's going on around me. So you can still feel the energy, you can see traffic behind me, you can see the tree behind me, you can see the weather, like, you know what's going on, but yet I'm not distorted, I look normal. I look like me, I feel like me. It feels good. So it's not like I'm texting you or talking to you from some other country or something, like, it ain't that, you know? It's like, it feels like an exchange. It feels like we're sharing something. I feel like 20 millimeters, 24 millimeters even, 24 is okay, but 20, 16, 18, like all those lower millimeters, wider angle stuff, that starts to seem like the frame, the distortion, the accentuated, different type of feeling is part of the story. Like you're trying to set the mood, you're trying to set the energy before you even hear the words or before you even know what's going on with regards to what you're showing. So I guess for filmmaking, that's cool if that's what you're going for. If you're trying to set the mood by the madness of the frame, the chaos, the quirkiness, the weirdness, if you're trying to be funny or if you're trying to make it feel like it's out of control or weird, I guess I understand it. But I'm more of a real life filmmaker, theater artist. Like I write stories that are dramas that are more not so surrealistic but more realistic. And so you know what, let me go back there and continue this 28 millimeter because I love 28 millimeters. So let me go back there. I mean, come on, 28 millimeters feels like real life. You know what I mean? Like I'm somebody who shoots 28 and 50 90% of the time. And if I'm shooting anamorphic, I'm shooting 28, 40, and 85. But usually just 28 and 40. And they get me through and it feels real to me. Even if it's anamorphic, I'm still getting some kind of weird character. I don't want to say weird. I'm getting some character, additional character that feels good to me. And when I'm shooting at this focal length, definitely doesn't feel like I'm texting you or, you know, sending you pictures or some kind of cryptic bullshit that I can't understand. Like it feels like I'm sitting with you in like, you know, Prospect Park or Central Park or Van Cortlandt Park or down by McCombs Park by Yankee Stadium, or maybe we're walking over the McCombs Bridge together, or we're down by the Pergonis Theater talking, and we're sitting on a bench by, you know, I don't know, by the Madison Avenue Bridge. We're in the Bronx, we're in Brooklyn, maybe we're in Fort Greene Park, but we're together. You know, we're in the same place and we're working it out, or we're enjoying each other's company in person. You know, there's just, there is no comparison. If you're just texting back and forth with somebody, or if you're just like sending social media posts back and forth, stuff like that, I mean, you're shooting at 20 millimeters, you know, you're creating something that doesn't exist in real life. When people walk out their door and look out into the world, you're creating something that, you know, when you do finally get to the in-person part, you're going to have to like reacquaint yourselves with that individual because suddenly nothing is the same. You know what I mean? Like everything's different. It's like somebody who puts their profile picture up from high school and you meet them and they're 47 years old. It's like, yo, what's up? Like you don't look anything like your profile picture. And then you start to wonder if this person is honest, and it's just kind of weird. And so 28 millimeters, 35, 50, you know, it's like it's much more real. I mean, I enjoy it much more. I want to go to 50 right now and see what that feels like to you. All right, so 50 millimeters, I'm the same distance from the camera. You could see it's a big difference. And I'm also shooting as fast as I could possibly shoot on this camera. So it's at f5.3 right now, because this doesn't have a fixed aperture. This zoom lens, it goes from f3.5 to f5.6. So at 50 millimeters, I'm at f5.3, but you could see it's blurring out the background because I'm this close. And 50 millimeters is like, you can't front. Like now we're right here. Like if I want to make a point, we're sitting on a bench together, I'm gonna slide like right next to you. And I'm gonna make you talk to me direct, you know, or if we're zooming, I'm gonna say, yo, get in the frame, like don't front, don't be walking around your apartment or whatever. Let's really be face to face, or let's at least talk on the phone. Fuck all this text bullshit. Like 50 millimeters does not lie. And the cool thing about 50 millimeters is that when you step back, it gives you an entirely different, like I know a lot of people say that we see the world at 50 millimeters. Personally, I think that's kind of a ridiculous comment. Let me move back for a sec because this is a little uncomfortable. Let me go back. I mean, 50 millimeters is nice, right? Like it's cool, it feels comfortable, it feels intimate, you know, if you're this close but not too close. This is like, you know, this is a good way of communicating, and that's why I think a lot of people start their filmmaking and their photography careers with a nifty 50, with a 50 millimeter lens, because it feels easy. It's the easiest way to communicate. It feels like it fits everybody's style. Anybody could be comfortable in this kind of scenario, I think. Like, it's not too close, it's not too far, it's very, very comfortable. And maybe it's the, if you're making a film or doing photography and doing portraits, it's like the easiest way to start a conversation. It's maybe the best way to get in there and, you know, get things rolling and build up to other things. And maybe then you go to 28, get closer, see what's going on in the background still, or if it's like a really dramatic moment, get closer with the 50. That's why I shoot 28 and 50 90% of the time. And I love 50 in this 4:3 aspect ratio because it's got enough distance, yet it's very intimate at the same time. You know, when you bring in the sides and it's not too wide. I just watched a movie called Ida recently, which I've seen that movie about 12 times. And I love the way it looks so much. Like, it looks so beautiful. So 50 millimeters is really cool. So you've seen 20, 24, 28, 50. I could go on and on. I have an APS-C mode in this camera, so I can actually get to 90 millimeters. So, you know what, let me go to 90 real quick, because this is a 20-60 kit lens. If I go to APS-C mode, that 60 is a 90. And let me show you what that looks like real quick. And then I'll finish this video about focal lengths and communication and real life and having an exchange as opposed to just putting something on somebody, which I can't stand. And so let me go to 90 real quick, and then we'll finish this up. So 90 millimeters, we are not playing around. Like, this is when you seriously want to make a point. You might want to just, you know, get close on somebody's eyes. It's so sunny, I can't even open my eyes out here. But I'm the same distance, so the advantage of a lens like this, I can get really close. And I could do pretty much anything I want with this lens. Like, people sleep on the 20-60 kit lens. There's not a lot of lenses where you can get this close and get from 20 millimeters to 60. And if you have an APS-C mode like I do, you can get from 20 to 90. Like, not a lot of people have that. And so let me get back to normal back there. You can see what 90 looks like, and I'm going to finish this video. All right, now 90 millimeters. You know, think of this as like an 85 where people like to do portraits and stuff like that. 90 millimeters is very cool, you know. And the cool thing is that I'm shooting at f5.6. It goes from 3.5 to 5.6, I believe. And it's got a nice roll off to the background. It's blurred out a little bit, but not too much. I have a nice presence here. I really like this a lot. This brings a lot of versatility, and it just makes me feel better when I'm sitting in Fort Greene Park with you and we're just chilling, or, you know, maybe we're up in Bed-Stuy, sitting by the park up by Fulton Street on the other side, you know, over by Marcus Garvey, and just watching people play chess. And I mean, this just feels like more intimate to me, but not too crazy. And it's kind of like, you know what? Maybe we had a lot of misunderstandings because of the texts and the emails and stuff like that, or, you know, maybe we realize we don't know each other at all because of that. But now that you're sitting in the same space with somebody, you actually know them. This is the way I think when I choose focal lengths. You know, I think of relationships between people. I think of how people relate to one another, how they communicate with one another, how they receive information and how they give information, and how sometimes when you give information, you might receive information at the same time. And you know how sometimes people talk over each other? Well, when you're doing it live, sometimes it works because you're with each other and you could like grab somebody's hand real quick and go, whoa, 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 let me just finish this sentence real quick. But when it's on the phone, because the phone can also be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing too, because when you're talking over each other, you can't see the look in somebody's eyes, can't see the expression on their face, they can't touch your hand to slow you down, they got no body language. Same thing with lenses, you know what I mean? Like you gotta think of that kind of interrelationship between people when you're choosing focal lengths and when you're choosing how to express your dialogue or your environment. Like, how are people out in the universe, even if it's in a tiny little room, how are people going to respond to the environment that they're in, and how is my focal length going to affect that, and my aperture? That's also really important. So yeah, I love messing around with focal lengths and aperture. I can't really mess with the aperture as much as I would like on this lens. So if you have a zoom lens, I would recommend getting one with a fixed aperture, although for me, it doesn't make a difference at all. You know, I'm shooting a documentary right now, and I shot a rehearsal yesterday of a band rehearsing with a friend of mine who's a poet, my friend Gold, and oh my God, I got some ridiculous footage, ridiculous, beautiful. And you know, also I'm manually focusing here. Like I don't use autofocus, so I'm manually focusing everything with this camera. I manually focused the entire rehearsal. I was shooting off the cuff, just getting stuff while they were rehearsing. And I think I missed like 1 or 2 shots out of about, I probably got 80 or 90 files. So everything was nailed because I took the time to do it, and because that's how I work all the time. That's how I practice. I work in manual focus all the time. So it's comfortable for me, and it actually is more comfortable than the anxiety that I feel when I'm using autofocus. So anyway, I love messing with focal lengths. I love messing with aperture. I love the Panasonic S5 so much. Love the way the image renders, and I love the flexibility of the body and how it works. And so you know what? I'm going to switch back to 20 millimeters real quick so you see the big difference, and I'm going to end this video. Give me a sec. 20 millimeters. I mean, in a 4:3 aspect ratio, I can spread my arms like that. I can lift up. I can't even get to the top of the frame. And by the way, just as an aside, do you know what parfocal means? Parfocal means when you're using a zoom lens, when you focus on something, no matter where you change your focal length to, it stays in focus. This lens is definitely not parfocal because every time I've been changing from being up close to being back here, I've had to fix the focus, and I've had to do it manually, obviously, which for me is fun, but for a lot of people is a pain in the ass. So anyway, here I am at 20 millimeters, finishing up this video, and I just want to say that I think that everything we do with telling a story, whether we're filmmaking or doing photography or in the theater on stage or whatever, we have to think about how people are in the real world. Like that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a world. We're trying to give people the opportunity to imagine this world around them, and we're trying to simulate that in our work. And so I think if you keep that in mind, it's going to really help you when choosing your focal length, your aperture, the distance from the camera, how you want to look in the frame. Like think about how it looks when you walk down the street, when you're sitting on a train, when you're driving in a car, when you're anywhere. Like just think about how things look to you. And if you make a film and it doesn't look like real life, then if you're not doing that on purpose, with real intention, then you're screwing it up. But that's good practice. That's good news that you screwed it up, because now you got to go back and fix that, and that's fun. That's a great thing to do. You know, like working, making mistakes, and fixing things. That's all part of the process that we love and enjoy. And so please subscribe, and please hit the like button, and please consider joining my Patreon. That would be awesome. And visit my website, learn more of what I'm about, the art that I make. And I thank you so much for coming here. I think it's kind of you to do that. There are so many other things you could be doing with your time. There are so many other YouTube channels. We're in that scrolling world. And so I really appreciate when people come here and spend their time with me. Like, I don't take that for granted. I think it's awesome. I love you for that. And yeah, I guess with regards to all of this stuff, that's all I got to say about all of that.